You're a developer tasked with turning 50 Shades of Grey into a movie. What do you make? A new CV to get a better job?
This is Versus, the GameSpot show that pits your favourite games, consoles, franchises, and hot button issues against each other. This week... Hooray for Hollywood. Yep, we're looking at the much maligned subgenre of film game tie-ins. Presenting their cases for the good, the bad, and the just plain weird are Dave Jewett and Oscar Deus, whose Sean Connery impression is just plain awful.
The first, yes, where's the girl? Like stuff like that. It's terrible.
Last week's fight between Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy saw a resounding win for Kingdom Hearts with 66% of the vote. Well done, guys. I'm very proud of you, and together we will see this bloody Kingdom Hearts saga through. But to vote for who you think argued their case better this week, we're going to be throwing up a clickable poll right here on YouTube. Right, let's get into the debate.
Oscar.
Hello, Dave.
So, because there's not many games coming out, we were talking about movies.
Summer, innit? Blockbuster season, baby.
And we were talking about Mission Impossible Fallout, which then got us onto the topic of
The
movie
Fallout
tie-ins.
series. Oh.
Yeah, I've done that. I destroyed Michael Hardy during that episode.
Oh yeah, you did, yeah.
So we thought, let's talk about the movie tie-in games. Admittedly, some of the classics might not have been around when you were alive, but we'll make it work. Okay, so first we're doing the best tie-in game. So my pick for the best tie-in game is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King on PlayStation 2. It's a great game, and it's not only my favorite movie tie-in game, but it might be one of the best movie tie-in games ever. It was real close to the film, but also gave players a lot of freedom. There was like 3 branching paths. There was a much wider array of characters. You could play as Gandalf, Legolas, Aragorn. Legoland, yeah, at Windsor. I think there was a couple more, but like I think that the previous game didn't have nearly as many characters, and each character had their own moveset. They had their own skill tree, their own advancements. You could customize them to fight in the way that you wanted to fight, and each level would have a reward system to kind of encourage replayability. And when I was a kid, I played through that game like too many times for it to really be healthy, to get like Legolas up to level 20, and I didn't play Gimli much because he was like slow and screw that little dwarf idiot. But it was actually like an incredible game. The sound design was amazing, the levels were incredible, like they all recreated like the massive battles from the film, and it made you feel like a movie. When you're kicking down ladders off of walls and like slaying Uruk-hai and you're getting all these bonuses pop up.
Well, as nice as all of that sounds, Dave, liking Lord of the Rings does, of course, make you a massive nerd. So, the best movie tie-in game that's not for nerds...
It's gonna be James Bond, isn't it?
No, it's actually Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
Not for nerds?
Yeah.
What, Star Wars in there?
Yeah? What's your point? Star Wars is cool. I went for the Complete Saga because that has all 6 of the original Star Wars films condensed into one game. So you got the best of the original trilogy and of the prequel trilogy. This is the best thing I think about Lego Star Wars. The prequel trilogy, in terms of the films, are obviously derided among most people. The best thing about Lego Star Wars is that it essentially takes all of the bad bits out. You lose all of the separatist trade agreement shit that is so boring. Like when you're a kid and you go in the cinema and you're like, yeah, Star Wars, and it's going on about trade embargoes, and you're like, oh, what's happened?
I didn't even know what an embargo was.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but Lego Star Wars gets rid of all of that and just goes, all right, yeah, have a lightsaber and fight dudes. And like, that's amazing to me. And at the same time, it gets, the fact that it puts all of those favorite characters from the prequel trilogy and from the original trilogy in Lego form means that you don't have the weird, like, Uncanny Valley, bad sound acting, bad voice acting that you get with a lot of film tie-in games, because it was all silent, and they managed to get some really amazing comedy out of scenes that were already written and acted like 30 years prior to that. And at the same time, like you said, it is just like a great game. Like, it has some amazing puzzles in it, and like back then the Lego series wasn't as kind of formulaic as what it has sort of become now, and it felt really fresh, and I absolutely loved all 6 of those sort of mini games in themselves, and I would absolutely love to play a remastered version if they were to do one. Are you listening, Traveller's Tales? Worst tie-in game.
Oh boy.
I've got a little childhood story for you. Settle in. Picture the scene, right? I'm 11 years old.
Okay.
I've
Picturing
I've not long since just got my PS3, which I'd been looking forward to for ages. The game that I got with my PS3 was Spider-Man 3, so I'd already been burned by a poor film tie-in. I'm really looking forward to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I went away on a school trip for like 3 days. And I pre-ordered the game, and I was so excited to get back home. I didn't care about the trip. I just wanted to get back home and play Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, right? I wanted to be in that world because I'd played the previous Harry Potter games on like PS1 and PS2 and loved them, loved being at Hogwarts, right? And I was so excited for it. And I get back and I put the game in and it's utter shit. And I finished it in like, it must have been like 4 hours or something. I finished it that night, and this was like, the PS3 had just come out, so the game was like 50 quid or something. It was a lot of money. I was so burned by that. I never bought a Harry Potter game ever again. I really enjoyed the PS2 ones in particular. I thought were really good. Like they made the world of Hogwarts seem alive, and it felt like you were living in that world.
Like an open world exploring the castle stuff.
Exactly, which is all you want when you're a kid. You're like, I want to be at Hogwarts, right? And this just didn't do that at all. It made it so lifeless, and just got all the characters just seemed so like wooden.
See, mine is. So you've heard of Street Fighter?
I have heard of Street Fighter, yes.
Good series of games. You heard of the movie? Bad movie.
Right.
But there is a Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
Is there?
So they based the movie off the original game, and then they based an entirely different game, which played completely differently, off the terrible movie. It was so bad. Like, okay, so just at the core, it was a bad fighting game. It had bad frame rates. It just played terribly. It didn't feel like a Street Fighter game. They took the images of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie Minogue, and they stuck them in this fighting game that was so janky, and you just saw. It must have been a long day in the Foley studio where they had to tell Jean-Claude Van Damme to start making like damage sounds. It's horrendous. And Kylie Minogue's in it for some reason.
Hey, listen,
so
Kylie
bizarre.
is a great actor, all right? And to be able to play as her in a video game, I would absolutely welcome that.
All right, and the last topic is our guilty pleasure. The game that I have very fond memories of was the Die Hard trilogy on PS1.
Oh God.
So they made the Die Hard trilogy after all the films had come out, so you had 1, 2, and 3. And what was amazing about it is that Die Hard 1 was like a 3D shooter where you're exploring Nakatomi Plaza and Resident Evil style like tank controls. You could pick up new guns, grenades, armor, taking down terrorists. Number 2 was, so bearing in mind that's how Die Hard 1 played, number 2 was a light gun game.
Sweet.
Again, like new weapons, new power-ups, the environments were destructible. If people were standing under stuff, you could shoot out like lights to make them fall on people. I loved playing that game. And so number 3 is like a crazy taxi sort of game. You're in either a cab or a sports car or a dump truck, and you're racing around New York City in a kind of racing game, like completing objectives, disarming bombs, getting to checkpoints at the same time. So they gave you 3 completely different flavors for 3 different flavors of film. It was fascinating. They gave you like a little smorgasbord of genres, and they were only ever between an hour and 2 hours long.
And that's fine.
So it's like little nice bite size that you could again replay.
My one is From Russia with Love, which was a weird anomaly when EA made that in, I think it was 2005.
Because they had like loads of games of Brosnan series,
exactly.
Right? And then they were like, now we're going to go all the way back to Russia with Love.
Exactly. I think it was basically in that period between Brosnan and Craig that they were like, oh, we got to make a Bond game because they make money.
We've got the license.
And we've got the license. What are we going to do? So they just made a Sean Connery one, and like they got Sean Connery actually back in to record the voice lines and he completely like he's playing Sean Connery in this. He doesn't play Bond. It's like full Scottish accent, like the first, where's the girl? Like stuff like that. It's terrible, but it's just so satisfying to be able to play a game of a film that I'd watched so many times because I'm a huge James Bond fan and I've got the entire series. And it was so awesome to be able to play as Sean Connery. It was the first time he played Bond in like 30, 34 years.
But he
I
did
think
play
it was.
Bond, he played him, cashing in a check because
Yeah, I
he
guess.
wanted a new Land Rover.
I guess so, yeah. It's a bit more shootery than a Bond game, I feel, should be. But like, it was also ahead of its time as well. Like, it had some of the like disguise uniform mechanics that are seen in like the modern Hitman games, for
really?
example. Yeah, and this
I've
was
played
like
this.
13 years ago. There was something about it that was just so satisfying to be able to be in that Bond world, but set in the 60s. You know, it's like a period Bond film, and I absolutely adored it. They're all the Bond games are good. Except for 007 Legends. Sorry.
Is that the only one that's bad?
Yeah, probably.
We just go watch a bunch of Bond gameplay and just like, oh shit, it is.
Go. Yeah. I'm perfectly up for that. I love that this is work.
Let us know who you think won by voting in our poll in the top right of the corner if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're over on GameSpot.com by putting your thoughts in the comments section below. Right, time for this week's quickfire round, a series of dumb, fun questions written by the rest of the UK team. Let's see how Dave and Oscar get on.
What's your dream film tie-in game, and who would make it? I just want a film tie-in game made for every single Bond film, and just give them all to...
They'd all be shit.
No, they wouldn't. They'd all be amazing. Give them all to Naughty Dog or...
Oh,
no!
Tell you what, Alpha Protocol, but Bond.
Yes.
That'd be sick. Pitch your most shameless cash grab idea for a tie-in game. At the minute, if they went back and made the Japanese Battle Royale film into a game, that'd make bank.
Do an impression of the worst line of dialogue you know from a film tie-in. So there's a bit in From Russia with Love where they got Sean Connery in to play Bond again, obviously, and at the very beginning of the game, it's like the girl gets stolen away by the bad guy, and he says, this is the end, Bond, and then Bond goes, I think it's just begun, or something, and it's like that's right at the very beginning of the game, and it's so bad, and it's so poorly delivered because Sean Connery is massively phoning it in.
Too bad. The game is over, Mr. Bond.
I think it's just begun.
You're a developer tasked with turning 50 Shades of Grey into a movie. What do you make? A new CV to get a better job?
Press X to whip.
Loads of middle-aged mums are going to be playing it. It's going to have to be a mobile game, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll definitely be a mobile game. It'll just be a porn game. That's fine. Porn games are a thing. Oh dear.
On that bombshell.
Let's go home.
Yeah.
Remember to get your voice heard in our poll or in the comments section below and tell us who you think argued their case better. And if you enjoyed this episode of Versus, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we have new episodes of the show every Wednesday. Thanks for watching. See ya!